Thank you, Devin. According to the CDC, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, is one of the most common neurobehavioral disorders of childhood. So here to tell us more about this is Nurse Christina Paris from the VA. So thank you so much for braving the temperatures and making it in today.
It is cold. You have to start your car a little early.
Oh, absolutely. It's slow going.
So we tend to focus on the hyperactivity part of ADHD, but can you just tell us a little bit more about this disorder?
Sure. So as you said, it's very common. 6 million people in the U.S. Children have been diagnosed at some point in their childhood, and boys are 13% more likely than girls to get ADHD. Now, we used to think that it was just a behavioral issue. You know, kids were bad, or it was bad parenting, or something like that, but that's not, or too much sugar, but that's not the case. A study that was published in the National Institute of Health talked about the subcortical brain volume differences. So it went and it did MRI scans of different brains of people, all ages, with ADHD and those non-ADHD persons, and they found that there were actual differences. Some of the main differences were in the amygdala, the accumbens, and the hippocampus. So the amygdala was the biggest, and that is the part of the brain that's closely associated with fear, emotion, and motivation. And so they found that this part of the brain didn't develop as quickly as people who did not have ADHD. So there really, truly is a physical brain difference in people who have ADHD.
Interesting. Well, besides affecting attention, what are some of the other symptoms that could affect a person?
So, you know, oftentimes kids will have, from time to time, difficulty focusing. That's normal. What stands out and what's different with kids with ADHD is that you're going to see a lot more daydreaming. They'll forget things. They tend to fidget or squirm in school. Maybe they're careless. They make a lot of mistakes. They have a hard time resisting temptation, again, because that amygdala, I can't talk this morning, and maybe trouble taking turns or sharing toys. So you're going to see a lot of those kind of differences.
Interesting. And then we hear about Ritalin. Is that how you pronounce it?
Ritalin?
Yeah, so we hear about that a lot, but are there other ways that you can maybe help manage ADHD?
You can. So there is the stimulants and the non-stimulant medications, but you can also do things like get help through counseling, and you can get what they call an IEP, or an individualized education plan, and it's under a plan called the 504 plan. So if your child does have ADHD, talk to your school counselors, talk to the resource center there, and ask them about an IEP. These are really specific. It's by law. It's a legal thing. They have to have a written plan. They sit down with you, they go through it. You can also have an advocate. So if you're having a hard time with the school or with communication, maybe you just don't understand it, you can find another advocate who can come with you. Also, counseling is really important. One of the big things I did want to bring up, though, about medications is you want to be careful, because often these medications will cause insomnia. Kids will stay up for long periods of time. It'll cause nausea, anorexia, meaning they just don't want to eat, and dry mouth. So those are really important. So you'll have to, that can all be part of your IEP plan too. So maybe getting snacks to the kids during the day to help them when they're not hungry all the time. So a lot of different things you can do. Lots of resources.
Right. So it's a common thing. It's out there. The counselors will know about it. Your teachers will know about it. And there's plans in place to help guide these kids.
And lots of programs. There's CHAD that you can look up in the CDC. So lots of federally funded programs that you can look into. So
awesome. Yes, well, thank you so much. It's great to know that there's so many resources out there. And we appreciate you coming in again, braving the cold. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Christina.
And coming up, we have What's Trending.